So why is Great Wall Motor Australia not bringing Tank 500 in diesel or V6? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Different location, obviously, because I'm going through a phase of recording videos about my car camping adventures. That's why hopefully the ambient noises are not too much. I'll try to edit them, but I apologize for the inconvenience caused in advance. My friends, first of all, I'm not affiliated with Great Wall Motor, quite unfortunately, because I like the brand. And please understand that this is speculation. So everything that I'm going to say to you is just my guess, as good as yours, okay? Because I'm sure you are also not officially informed as to why yes, why no, and that kind of stuff. My guess is twofold here. First of all, the answer is because Great Wall Motor clearly identified Australia and Asia Pacific probably as the market for new energy, for EVs and for plug-in hybrids. That is really what they have done. Why am I concluding this? It is because we know that Great Wall Motor is perfectly capable of producing V6 and diesel engines, because we have V6 rolling out in Saudi Arabia and in Arabic countries in general, in that where they are present, UAE and those kind of places, yeah? So they can, they certainly can if they want to, except they don't want to here in Australia. Same thing, and this is where I think comparing the notes is important. We can't just zoom in on what Great Wall Motor is doing. That's a very myopic view. We need to look at what other brands, challenger brands, especially Chinese brands, what are they doing? Because I'm not saying that they're copying each other, I'm not saying they're mimicking each other, but what I'm saying is that all of these competitive brands, they're dealing with the same kind of effect of having to compete against more established brands such as Toyota, such as others. So their conditions of the Australian market are the same, which means that they'd be rather stupid not to consider these conditions and do something somewhat similar to each other. Which in this particular case, I've just listened to the interview with the head of Cherry South Africa, who is talking very, very confidently about the new energy vehicles, EVs and plug-in hybrids. They're very much invested into this. There is not a mention of diesel. There is not a mention of that. And I know that Australia specifically, same as some Arabic countries as well, it's a very diesel-sucking kind of country. It's a very fuel-based, coal-based economy, and a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't want to speculate too far there because I'm educated enough, but I'm not an expert, and that's where it's very easy to come across just poorly informed, okay? So educated speculation from me is that, first of all, they are not giving us Tank 500 in diesel and V6 simply because they do not want to invest further at the moment into the coal-based and diesel fuels specifically. They simply don't want to invest into this. Secondly, their movement currently aligns with the politics of Australian government, whether it's for better or for worse. Australian government currently is rolling out this hullabaloo campaign of everything needs to be EV, and we have these EV stations and stuff like this. I personally, subjectively, like as a private owner, as a private person, not speaking on anyone's behalf and not pretending to be a brand in this particular moment in time, I subjectively do not believe in this. I do not think that Australia has the momentum, longevity, financial spread, facilities and anything else required to create infrastructure, sufficient amount of infrastructure to rely solely and very heavily on EVs, okay, across Australia. Cities, Sydney, Melbourne, CBD, sure, no problem, enjoy yourselves. But it's not Europe, and it's not going to be Europe, probably ever, by the way. So in this particular case, Cherry, GWM, probably is the key word here, probably decided to say, you know what, we understand that there is an immediate amount of frustration associated with us not giving the Australian consumer diesel or V6 that would be sort of expected from this kind of vehicle, but they'll adjust, and we are giving it at a very, very competitive price, so there will be adopters, and slowly, especially playing into the Australian government's politics, we are going to gain ground. That is my guess. Final point here as to why not. So I think that while Toyota just has such a massive footprint in Australia, last year they sold over 200,000 vehicles, yeah, a lot of which speculatively probably are diesel ones. Because Toyota has such a foothold in Australia, I think part of the GWM's strategy, as well as Cherry's strategy for that matter, is not to butt heads with Toyota too much. Again, heavily speculative. Tell me in the comments down below if you, even just common sense wise, if you agree with me. But I think they understand that bringing in a vehicle that looks like and feels like Toyota Land Cruiser 300 or even Toyota Prado, if you insist on it not being TLK 300. When you bring in a thing that looks like that, however, you don't give it the innards that that crowd that buys those kind of vehicles expects, then there will be some kind of discontent. There will be some kind of disappointment almost, and like, what's up? What's up with that? That looks and sings like that, except it's not that. You know what I mean? So I think that GWM carefully considered this. I don't think that they are uneducated. I think that they simply decided not to butt heads with Toyota that's still very heavily invested into diesel-based cars. But even Toyota, and that's where I don't want to speculate even further, like second level of speculation, I think even Toyota is going to leave the whole EV dream aside, even though they just rolled out this gimmick vehicle that is purely EV. I think that's their last hurrah here as far as EVs are concerned. And I think even Toyota probably is going to double down on the new energy, renewable energy, etc., self-recharging kind of economical vehicles that are still based on petrol and coal kind of fuels, but not necessarily purely gas-guzzling, massive engine V6s and diesels. That is, in essence, that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. So it's just my humble opinion. I, as always, welcome opinions of my audience in the comments below. Please, especially if you feel like you are very much an automotive person and you're educated, let's share opinions. We don't have to agree or disagree, or maybe just go ahead and educate myself and others on this topic. Why do you think Great Wall Motor and Chery, for that matter, why are they not hitting where Toyota is right now? If not avoiding the fight with Toyota, as well as investing into a differently renewable energy kind of sources. Tell me in the comments down below, subscribe for more if you haven't already, and like the video so that more people can see it, because by any stretch of imagination, the more of us here, the merrier. Thank you very much for tuning in into this slightly unusual setting, and I'll talk to you next time.